Welcome you all. Today we are going to learn some programs in graphics. So, what is the program that I am going to teach you in this video today? It is none other than boundary fill algorithm. So, before watching this video, let me tell you something. You have to watch the video associated with boundary fill algorithm explanation, which I have already uploaded in my channel. So once you have completely gone through the boundary fill algorithm and the different ways in which you can fill the interior region, that is either 4 connected method or an 8 connected method, it will be easy for you to understand the programming concepts. Okay, so concepts have been already discussed in the previous videos. This video just explains you how you can implement that theoretical concept using a programming language. So here I am going to implement the graphics program using the C language. Let us see how we can do that. So proceeding to the program directly, I am going to begin the program. We know that a program must begin in such a way that it should include certain library files or header files. So here I am going to include 3 such header files. First one is stdio.h, and it is nothing but standard input output file which is necessary to perform input output operations in a program. So I have to include standard input output.h. Once that particular file is included, I am going to include another file which is also associated with input output, and it is known as console input output.h, conio.h. It is known as console input output.h file. This is also necessary to perform operations like getch, clear screen, etc. So such functions can be called only if this particular header file has been included in your program. Once these 2 header files have been included, I am going to include an extra header file that will help you to perform graphical operations in your program. Unless and until you include graphics.h in the header section, you cannot perform any graphical operations. So to perform graphics operations in your program, it is necessary to include the file graphics.h. So these 3 files are enough in this program. So header section includes 3 header files: stdio.h, conio.h and graphics.h. Okay, header files have all included. Now what? Now I am directly moving to the main program. So I am going to write the main section, main program. What are the things I am going to include in the main function? So main function should be written like this: void main, and I am going to open the main function, that is curly brackets are used to open the main function, and inside the main function I am going to declare 2 variables. One is gd, a variable is gd, another variable is gm. What are these gd and gm? Gd is a graphics driver. It is very necessary to include graphics driver and graphics mode in your program so that you can smoothly perform graphics operations. It is not necessary that you always give the variable's name as gd and gm. Instead of gd and gm, you can give any variable name, but one variable should correspond to a graphics driver, another variable should correspond to a graphics mode. Okay. So any 2 variables have to be used in this program for representing graphics driver and graphics mode. So here I am using a variable gd for graphics driver and gm for graphics mode. One more thing, gd should be initialized with the value detect. Detect. What does this mean? Detect is a keyword which automatically finds the graphics driver in your computer system and assigns it to the variable gd. Whenever gd is identified, the corresponding graphics mode will be associated to gm. So this is very necessary to declare these 2 variables and to assign the value detect to the variable gd. Remember, detect should be given in full caps. It's a keyword. Okay. Now what? Once these two variables are declared and GD is initialized to detect, let me move on to next step. So this step has been completed. Now what? Now I am going to do an initialization, and to perform this initialization I am using three values in it. One is graphics driver, second one is graphics mode, and the third one is a path. That means once the driver and the mode are identified, these two values have to be used to initialize the graphics in the system. So initially the system will be in its text mode, a mode where only textual information can be displayed on the screen. But to perform a graphical operation, you might have certain things like circle, line, rectangle functions where you require pictures to be drawn on the screen. So graphics is always associated with pictures as well. So you might be writing some sorts of sentences as well as you might be drawing pictures on the screen. So to make the screen draw pictures, you have to convert the mode of the screen from text mode to graphics mode. If the system remains in the text mode, it is not possible to draw the pictures on the screen. You can only type textual data. So to make the screen type the text as well as draw the pictures, you have to convert the system from text mode to graphics mode, and this statement is used for such conversion. The statement initializes the computer system to graphics mode from text mode. So for this initialization I require three parameters. First parameter is &GD. &GD means address of graphics driver. Second parameter is &GM, which is address of graphics mode. And the third parameter I have given an empty quotes, which is for path. System automatically finds the path and substitutes here. It is not needed that user should specify the path. System will automatically find where in the computer system this graphics driver is residing, and the path will be automatically substituted in this particular statement. So what we have to do is, you have to just give an empty quotes over there. Third parameter indicates the path where GD and GD, that means the graphics driver, resides. Okay, so once up to this you have written what portion of the program has been completed. That means a driver variable has been declared, graphics mode has been declared, driver has been initialized, and using driver and mode and the path, you have initialized the system from text mode to graphics mode. Now let's move on to the programming section. So we know that I am going to write a program for boundary fill algorithm. In boundary fill algorithm, what do I demand? I am going to draw a picture, and I wish to fill the interior of this region with a color. What did I say? I am going to draw a picture and I am going to fill the interior of this region with a color. So what are the requirements that I need here? I need a picture to be drawn. So here I am going to draw a circle. So I am using a function, circle function. Okay, circle x comma y comma 50. Now circle function is a built-in function which is capable of drawing a circle, and it requires three parameters. First two parameters contributes to the center of the circle. So if I am drawing a circle, it requires a center. And the center point, any point on the screen, can be represented using two parameters x and y. The first parameter x corresponds to the column of that pixel, and the second parameter y corresponds to the row of that pixel. So every pixel has two values, row and column. X indicates the column in which the particular pixel belongs, and y indicates the row in which the particular pixel belongs. Okay, so you need to give x and y to represent the center of the circle. So these two represents the center of the circle. What does this 50 mean? 50 indicates the radius of the circle. So to draw a circle you need three parameters. One is x, y and radius. X and y together contribute the circle center, and radius is the radius of the circle. So to draw this circle, I require two variables, x and y. So before a variable is to be used, it should be declared in the declaration part. So along with GD and GM, x and y should also be declared. One more thing. If I am writing circle x, y, 50, x and y should be having some values in it. So we have to read the values of x and y. So to read the values of x and y, I am going to use two statements over here. One is printf and one is scanf. So what I am going to write in printf? Printf statement is used to print certain messages onto the screen. So here I am using printf statement to print enter the center point of the circle, and then I will use a scanf function to read the values of x and y. Scanf %d, ampersand x and ampersand y. So using printf and scanf, I can read the values of x and y from the console, that is from the using the keyboard. After obtaining these two values, using circle function, I can draw it on the screen. So up to this is clear. We have already obtained the values of x and y, and after obtaining the values of x and y, we have drawn a circle on the screen. Now what? Now I am going to call the function boundary fill. This function is to be called. For what? For filling the interior region of the circle. So this function is typically used to fill the interior region of the circle. What are the parameters in this function used? There are 4 parameters: x, y, 15 and 4. What does these 4 values mean? First 2 values indicate from where in this picture the filling should begin. So this is an interior point. X, y together contributes an interior point of the figure which is drawn on the screen. Some figure has been drawn on the screen, and you have to specify the interior point inside any point which is lying inside that figure. For what purpose? So that you can begin the filling from that position. So you have to clearly specify an interior point of the picture drawn on the screen such that you can start the filling from that point. So you have to specify a point from where filling should begin. So xy typically indicates the interior point of the picture drawn. Then what? Then you have to specify the border color or the boundary color. That means color used to draw the picture boundary. That is the third parameter. And then a fourth value indicates the color using which you are going to fill the interior region. So 4 parameters are there. First 2 parameters together contribute the interior point of the figure from which the filling should be started. Third value indicates the color code, which is the color used to draw the boundary of the picture. Fourth one indicates the color that should be used to fill the interior region. So this is the boundary color, this is the fill color, and these two are the interior points. So with these 4 values, you are calling a user defined function. Boundary fill is a user defined function. So before using a function call, that particular function should be declared in the prototype section. Let us declare these function in the prototype section. So before main function, that is before this main function, you have to specify the function prototype. That is, this function does not have any return value, so clearly you are specifying void, then name of the function, which is boundary fill, and then 4 parameters. First value is x value, second value is a y value, third value is the boundary color, and fourth value is the fill color. And all these values should be preceded with their corresponding data type. That means whatever values you are passing into that function, every function value should be preceded by its own data type. First value is an integer, second value is also an integer, third value is an integer, and fourth value is also of integer type. So function prototype is used to specify the return type of the function, name of the function, number of arguments, and type of arguments. All these things need to be specified clearly in the function prototype. Only then you can call a function, user defined function in the program. So function prototype has been clearly specified over here, and only because of that I am calling the function here. So before calling the function, what are the necessary things? You have to draw the picture, you have to read the necessary parameters that are required to draw the picture, and you have to call the function. Okay, so the function has been called, and when this statement is executed, the control will be transferred to the function definition. That means from here the control will be transferred to the function definition. Let us now see what is written in the function definition. So in function call, 4 values were passed: x, y, boundary color and fill color, and all those 4 values need to be received in the function definition. Okay, so I am receiving those values. They are x, y, boundary color and fill color. So all these values have been received from the received in the function definition from the function call. Okay, remember in function definition also we need to specify the return type of the function, we need to specify the function name, number of arguments. Number of arguments means all those arguments that were passed in the function call need to be received correctly in the same order. Okay, so all those arguments are written along with their data types. So function definition has been written over here. Now let us see what happens in this function definition. We know that a center point, an interior point of that picture has been passed in this function, and that value resides in the variable x and y. I am using a function getPixel of xy. GetPixel of xy is a function that can be used to get the color of the pixel. So here xy is a pixel which lies inside the region. Something has been drawn on the screen, and that picture we know that it is a circle, and xy is an interior point which is inside the circle, a point which lies inside the circle. And getPixel xy is a getPixel function is used to get the color of that pixel. So a pixel is xy, and this function can be used to get the color of this pixel. Okay, so the selected pixel is taken and its color has been collected in the variable current. So current is a variable which at present holds the color code of the selected pixel. So this is the selected pixel whose color is obtained using this function, and the color code is now stored in the variable current. So before using the variable current, it should be declared in the function definition. Now what? Now I am going to check the color of the pixel. There are two things. One, the selected pixel need to be colored using fill color. Only if the selected pixel is not already colored and the selected pixel is not boundary color. I repeat, the selected pixel can be colored using fill color, or it need to be colored using fill color only when the pixel is not already colored. So the pixel need to be colored only if it is not already colored and if it is not colored using a boundary color. So I am using these two conditions over here. So the condition is written like this: if the variable current is not equal to boundary color, that means boundary has not yet reached, and At the same time, the variable current is not equal to fill color. That means the variable is not filled yet. It is not filled yet and boundary has not been reached. If both these conditions are true, only then you need to color the pixel with fill color. If these two conditions satisfy, then you will enter into the if section and this statement will be executed. What is this? It is put pixel. Put pixel is a function which is used to plot a color onto a pixel. You can color a pixel. Selected pixel can be colored using put pixel function. Put pixel function uses 3 arguments. First 2 arguments corresponds to the pixel. X and Y together corresponds to the pixel. So X corresponds to the column of the pixel and Y corresponds to the row of the pixel, and together we can identify the pixel that is to be colored. After identifying the pixel, you need to specify the color using which you are going to color the pixel. So I repeat, function call had already passed the interior point. That interior point is collected and its color has been obtained in the variable current. If that selected pixel is not already colored and if it is not equal to boundary color, only then you need to color the pixel with fill color. Hope you have understood up to this point. Then to show the demo in a stepwise format, that means you need to implement the program in such a way that you can see each pixel being colored in a slow motion. Otherwise what will happen, you can see the completely filled region at the end, at the last. If you execute the program, you will be able to see the completely filled region. You will not be able to identify how this filling has taken place. So to see or to visualize how the filling takes place in a stepwise format, you can use this function delay. So delay is used to temporarily stop the execution. It stops the execution for a while. Remember, the argument used inside the delay function should be in milliseconds. So if I am giving delay 10, it indicates delay for 10 milliseconds. So 10 is in milliseconds. Okay. Now after specifying delay, what will happen? You have to select next pixel to be colored. You have to select the next pixel to be colored. So only one pixel is selected and that pixel is colored. Once a pixel is selected and it is colored, from there you have to select the neighboring pixels. And in the previous videos, it was clearly explained how you can select the neighboring pixels from a current pixel. That is, there are 2 methods. Either you can use the 4 connected method or you can use an 8 connected method. In either of these methods, it is very easy to obtain the neighboring pixel from the current pixel. So here in this example, I have used 4 connected method, where after coloring a particular pixel, the 4 neighboring pixels will be selected. That is, one on the top, one on the left, one on the right, and one just below that pixel. So in this way, if 4 neighboring pixels are selected next to be colored, it is called a 4 connected method. And instead of this, if I am using 8 neighboring pixels like this, once a pixel is selected and colored, its top, left, right and bottom are selected, and along with these 4 neighboring pixels, I am also going to select the corner pixels also. That means top left corner pixel, top right corner pixel, bottom left corner pixel and bottom right corner pixel. In this way, if after coloring each pixel next pixel is selected in such a way that all the 8 surrounding pixels are selected, then it is called an 8 connected method, and all these methods have been clearly explained in the previous videos. Just for reference, you can look on to those videos also. So in this way you can fill the neighboring pixels also. So let us see how you can do. So once a pixel is selected and it is colored, you can write all those 4 statements as recursive functions like this. Function name, that is boundary fill. The pixel you are going to select next is x plus 1y. That means if this is a pixel, then the pixel lying to the left of this pixel will be termed as x minus 1y, and the pixel lying to the right hand side will be termed as x plus 1y. The pixel lying just above will be termed as x y minus 1, and pixel lying just below the current pixel will be termed as x y plus 1. So in this way each neighboring pixel can be termed like this. Okay, so hope all these concepts are all clear. Now let us see how it can be written. So this is a boundary fill function which calls the right pixels. So x plus 1y calls a right pixel with boundary color and fill color as parameters. This function calls the below pixel. This function calls the left pixel, and this function calls the above pixel. So 4 recursive functions have been used over here to fill in 4 different directions. So from the center point, one recursive function will fill pixels towards right direction. One built-in function will be, not built-in function, one recursive function will be used to fill the pixels in towards the left direction. One recursive function will be used to fill the pixels above the current pixel, and all the pixels below the current pixel will be filled using recursive function that is used to call the below pixels. So in this way 4 recursive functions work together to fill the regions inside the picture drawn. So in this way all these 4 recursive functions will be working simultaneously. All of them will be working simultaneously in 4 different directions, such a way that each of them will select a pixel. They will check if the pixel is already colored or not, and also they will check whether the pixel is having the boundary color. If both these conditions, if it is not a boundary color and it is not filled earlier, only then it will be filled with a new color. So in this way, when all of them work together, the entire region inside the picture drawn will be completely filled using the fill color. So typically in one word, we can one sentence we can explain this algorithm just like this. This particular filling algorithm is used to fill the interior region of a picture such a way that it stops whenever a boundary color is reached. That means it begins filling from a center position. Any picture will be drawn and the filling starts from the center position. Filling is proceeded in all the 4 directions, and each of them stops whenever the boundary color is reached. So until the boundary is reached, all of them will be continuously filling the interior regions. Okay, so this is how boundary fill algorithm works, and you will get the picture drawn with interior region completely filled with it. Okay, so since the boundary fill function has been written completely, first the if function will be closed, then the function body will be closed, And once the entire function has been executed, after the function has been executed in its full, it will return the control to the main program, and the control will reach at this statement. That means statement below the function call. Then getStage function will be executed and the program terminates. You can return back to the main screen. Hope the concept has been clearly explained before you. Keep watching the videos for much more information. Thank you.